Good morning. I'm starting the day out with an itch. Wah, wah, wah. It's an itch. I got an itch. And who's going to scratch it? Let's see. By the way, to start the day out, I will tell you, we had our first band member in our private Facebook group. I don't want to say banned. I think I did ban them, but probably by accident. Let's take a look at Active Trader Pro and Boyle. There's TQQQ, by the way. Has it been hit hard enough? Seeing this 5-day, it's over the 200-day. It's at 18. I think it's going back to 20, but we'll take a look. Let's take a look at Boyle. Boyle still is on its way down to 8 at 25. It's up at 26 in pre-market. Some dude, Stefan, it was, I don't know, let me go back to Safari. I'd have to look in there. I think you did well on again, you can time these things if you want. By the way, hit the thumbs up button. Everybody did yesterday, and I got more views than the previous day. So I think it does make a difference. I don't know. But let's do a scanner. We're going to start scanning. And I didn't set things up. I've got to probably leave a little bit earlier today. Because I do have to get out of the house. Let me see. Scans. Okay, nothing in our core. That's interesting. I would have thought something would have broken on the core. Nothing on the sectors. Let me see if anything in my brokerage holdings. Nothing. Let's see in my watch list. Oh, you know what crossed up? Mara. Still no confirmation, though. I think TQQ. I think you'll do fine on TQQ. But remember, don't be greedy. Take your profits when you can. Okay, Mara's not owned. Let me look at ARC. Sandstorm. Boy, this is an interesting chart. I don't even know what they do. Let's see. Let's go over here. I was watching the playback. Ooh, they have a high PE. October $9 to $8. They're trading at $5.28. Quarterly dividend. Operates a gold royalty company. Huh. This is interesting. I might put this one on. Let's put this one on. It's a high PE. It's down 14%. Its 52-week high is $9.18. Earnings per share next year is expected to go down 38%, though. Declares first quarterly dividend. 2 cents per share. Let me see. Sand is trading at... What's 2 divided by 5.28?
It's approximately 0.3787.
What's 0.2 divided by 5.28?
The answer is approximately 0.0.
No, it's going to be a 0.37% dividend. Oh, come on, Active Trader Pro. Yeah, it's only a 2-cent dividend. I'm not going to put it in there. I don't like it. Prime Medicine, I don't know anything about. Morning, Hung. CGMT, this one freaking comes up all the time. Oh, look, it's above the 9-day. Does this one find... I'm not going to bring it up. No. Let's take a look at the Dow 30. I think you guys can see everything that I do on... Nike should have crossed up, by the way. I don't know. Yeah, Dow 30 has nothing. Let's look at S&P 100. Then we'll go to nothing. Nothing. Let's go to the NASDAQ 100. MNST, Monster Beverage. God. I mean, this has gaps all the way down. I'm going to bring this up. This may be good for puts. All options players. I'm going to bring that one up. Now, let's see. Devin, Zephin, you brought up... I've said Devin because Devin's on my mind because energy... There was a ton of cross-ups that you identified in the algorithm. And I got that list. Let's see. VNOM. I see Travel Center, man. I don't know what it... U.S. Energy Corp doesn't have confirmation. VTNR. Travel Center Americas. I hate those things. AeroC. Look at that ascending triangle. Arch Rock. It just broke the 200-day. Is it going to use that as support? No, I don't like that chart. That's too messy. There's too many good ones out there. Alta Mesa. Too expensive. It ain't going to go up that much. Barnwell. No. GPRK. This is an interesting one. It broke the 200-day, so is it going to go back to that gap? Let's see. Let's see the history of this one. Boom. It clings to that 200-day. Let's look up a daily. Clings to that 200-day. It clings to it. Let's look up a weekly. And that gap is above. It's been filled though. Okay, I think those are the only ones I'm bringing up. Let's go to the strategy tester. This one's just messy. Oh, and by the way, Tesla in pre-market should look fairly good. Let's go back to the daily because it's on the daily where that gap is. And the question is, has it been filled? Yep. It's been filled. We've been waiting for that one to get filled. Now, I don't think that this volume shelf is going to allow me to bring it all the way back. Nope. That's as far back as that volume shelf will let me bring it. So let's go back to, this is November 2020. Let's go back here. And we'll bring this volume shelf back here to, oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. November 2020. We're going to bring that back. And we're going to November. There we go. Now let's zoom in. And let's look at this. Let's bring it a week forward. We're going to bring it the last week of their 16th. You've got no volume support down here. Interesting. So I'm still not buying Tesla, by the way. It's just an interesting, but we filled that gap, and that's the key. So while I don't time things, and I tell you guys this all the time. See how it crossed down and it's still going down and the RSI's at 20? Even though we filled that gap, I'm not going to try and time it. Nope. And the reason I'm not going to try and time it, by the way, it's still 42 PE. Forward PE is only 25. It's down 60% year to date. No dividend. December 19th, so 2 days ago, Oppenheimer outperformed to perform. Still, look at the price targets. Citigroup 176. That's the most recent. In October, everybody's like 300. So nobody's readjusted. So it's an interesting one. And let me see who I banned. I don't even know who I banned. I need to tell. Essentially, what it was, they posted a link to a new to a different like strategy who was charging for classes. And while I don't mind, promoting other people, I just don't want one of the members, anybody, paying for a class that I personally don't know. It's kind of like Barb with Fidelity. She called me and I have an ability to kind of go back with Fidelity and say, hey, what the F happened if she wanted me to. With somebody promoting classes from somebody else, A, I don't know the content. B, I don't know if it's worth it or not. And I will tell you, the stock market, I mean, once you get the basics down and you understand some things and you get a system and you're comfortable with it, you don't need to pay for classes. Different strategies are great to learn, but you don't need different strategies. Let me see if I can see who I banned. I can't. I thought it would save in my messages, but let me see. Reported, flagged by Facebook, badge requests. Oh, admin assist. No, that's member request approved. Jonathan Penner. Welcome, Jonathan Penner. That's just rules. Top posts. I don't know. The boomer in me can't figure it out. So we'll have to change. Oof. Going back to my personal profile. I like to keep my memory. I have the memory of a guy who's my neighbor. He used to hang out on his porch and look in my bedroom. Wow, 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 wow. Let's look at DRN. Got out of that one. DRV, we're going to renew. DRN, where's my DRV? DRV, it's been clear. DRV is the winner. DRN and DRV kind of crashed. Let's see. What we're going to say. DRN. Okay. I think I'm going to start the podcast. Nobody else is joining. So, let's see. I got some new subscribers to the podcast. Where's Wells Fargo today? Where is my OBS? Why is it over there? I need it down here. This is where I want it. Then I want that over there. Okay. Let's go to Active Trader Pro. WFC. Ooh. It's only up at 41.32. It hit 42 yesterday, and I didn't sell. See, this is... I should have probably sold it, but we'll hold on to it. I didn't buy my entire lot. I bought 20% of the lot that I want. So I can always buy more. Let's look at Safari. And we'll look at Wells Fargo here. See, it's kind of losing. It had a big candle in the morning yesterday. It didn't gap, but it only had... It realized it opened at $41.29, but I got it at $40. So the after hours period was bigger. And in the afternoon, it went all the way down to $40.97. So you could have gotten it below 41. But that's an interesting one. And we'll start the podcast. What the hell? Anybody have any questions? There's nobody. TQQQ. I like TQQQ7. If you got it yesterday, kudos on that one. Okay. Good morning. It's Wednesday, December 21st, and the market's up in pre-market. Let me look at right now. Let me look at my phone. I think it was the Dow was up like 300 points, expected 300 points. 324. The NASDAQ is up, expected 61. The Dow is up 1%. S&P is expected up 0.75, and NASDAQ up 0.5. Mainly because of two companies, Nike and FedEx. And we'll look at Nike. But before I go into Nike, realize Wells Fargo yesterday got to 42. Let me see. In the morning candle, the high was 42.56. Remember, we bought it, myself and a couple of others in the YouTube live group. We bought it at $40.50. Still holding. It looks like it's going to open up at 41, just above 41. It closed at $40.98. Yesterday's day range was between $40.97, which it hit in the afternoon, to $42.56, which it hit at the open. If I wanted to scalp it and I was actually watching the charts, I might have sold it right at the open once it lost its confirmation. And let me just go to Active Trader Pro and I'll kind of review the chart with you. So if we go to a 2-day and I just look at yesterday, here's yesterday's action. And it's a 1-minute chart. We can go to a 5-minute chart. That's probably better. But you can clearly see how it's above that 9-day. It's above the 9-day. It's above the 21-day. The 9-day is the green. The 21's the yellow. That pink is what's called VWAP, volume weighted average price. I use it sometimes as a guide. Sometimes I don't. But once it broke that 9-day, which is right here, and it closed below it, which is at 10:20. So it was an hour and 20 minutes into the trading session. And I could have sold it at about 42. So, Buying at $40.50, selling at 42, take a 2, 3, 4% gain. Probably would have been better scalping it that way, but this was not identified as a scalp. Minimum 10%, so I'll hold on to it. I'll probably regret that, but also trading lesson. I only bought 20% of the lot that I'd wish to hold, so I didn't go all in. But that there's kind of the diary of the trade that I've done. I haven't finished the diary because the trade is still open. So I do diary my trades. So just a little learning. But Nike is the big one. They are way up. I think 12%. It is going to be well above this. I brought this up to you guys before. I think when this gain happened, and we saw this at October 6th, I think it was October 6th, somewhere in this neighborhood, I said, it's under 100. It's close to 90. It's below that 200-day. This is a classic American company, Nike is. You can expect it to go back to the 200-day at 102. So if you want to make 10%, move from 90 to 99 at least. It's run all the way up to 114 here, and then it got you out with a 16% gain. Well, we touched the 200-day yesterday, and that was probably a good indication, and I probably need to set up some alerts for stocks that touch their 200-day on the downside, because if they touch the 200-day on the downside, they're most likely going up. The danger was, hey, there was this gap, and I probably would have alerted you guys right before earnings. There's a gap down here. Don't play the earnings. It's not worth the gamble. Well, yesterday it was worth the gamble. Today, this one's going to open up at about 114 to 115 at these 52-week. Is it 52-week highs? Let me see. Let's see where it's at. 52-week high, is 171. So it's still 40% below that. The PE is 29. It's significantly expensive. Dividend is 1.32. You are down 38% year to date. So, again, this is an expensive stock. Wouldn't have expected it, but they killed it. Absolutely killed it on earnings. Let me see if I have some notes here on the earnings. I don't think that I do. I think I just said, hey, they beat it. Beat earnings up almost 12%. I said to buy it about under 100, and of course I didn't. That was my note. Another Dow component that beat was FedEx. Now, this is interesting because they beat on their earnings per share, but they didn't beat on their revenue. And they also cited that they're going to cut their costs by almost $1 billion faster than they were before. And they said there's depleting demand outlook, and that will continue. So, sorry, the dogs are barking in the back. But that's not good for shippers. If you're having depleted volume, that's not good for shippers. So we can look at some of our other shippers that we've looked at. Zim, this probably will be down. Eagle Bulk, I kind of forget all of these shippers that I've traded in the past. But yeah, that's the ball. My friend got my dog a ball. Let me hit pause real quick just to make sure everything's okay. Okay, everything seems to be okay. Did you guys hear that on YouTube? That was a ball hitting the door. And then it was the ball hitting the door, and then the dog hitting the door. That was good. Okay. Let's continue on. So, sorry, everything's okay. It was the ball hitting the door and then the dog hitting the door. But shippers, yeah, the weak outlook. The other thing, so I've been talking about this one for a while, and unfortunately the prediction came true, but Tesla has finally filled the gap, and we can look at the chart here. The gap was at 137, 138. It hit it yesterday. In pre-market, it's trading around 140. And if we pull up the daily chart, I kind of showed this one earlier because I looked at it a little bit. But see that gap right there? And see that white line? Yeah, we're touching it. The danger is when I pulled this up and I tried to look at some volume shelves, we have no support below this. Your RSI right now is at 24. Your MACD is way down. It is going to be up a couple of percentage points in pre-market. Elon is stepping down as CEO of Twitter. Not quite yet, though. He still needs to find a new CEO. So there's still some issues there. And the main thing is I drove past a Tesla dealer service center yesterday. They've got so many cars that are waiting to get delivered. So I wouldn't expect Q4 to be up. I would expect Q4 to be a little tough. They're giving significant incentives, supercharger miles, some additional benefits if you buy now. But Q1, remember that the the tax credits from the national standpoint go into place for many of these cars. And so you've got $7,500 coming back. The last time that you had tax discounts on a Tesla was 2018 or 2019, I believe. So you could see a huge influx of purchases come in the first quarter. And so I would expect this to kind of, remember what I always say, the fact that your grandmother is cooking meatloaf next Christmas is already priced into the market. So you can't time these things. You can't look at it. But you do have to look at this and say, okay, is it time to actually buy in? And I don't know that it's actually time to buy in because look at this 4-hour chart. You're still below those Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands are still going down. That 200-day is clearly in a downward direction. The 50-day, the 9-day, the 21-day, they're all in downward directions. The earnings are coming up January 25th. What will happen is probably January 1st, January 2nd, they're going to release their Q4 auto sales, and that will probably be either a catalyst down or a catalyst up for the company. But that's the next catalyst on this one, unless for some reason Elon decides, hey, I'm going to step down. I'm going to focus on Tesla. Or full self-driving all of a sudden becomes smart enough to actually drive you around. Who knows? But Tesla has filled that gap. One that I've said was a hype play and might not be a hype play anymore is Moderna. I highlighted this one getting the 205.23. You're trading at 201 right now. 205.23 was the secondary kind of gap up after it got you out with a quick one, but 185 was really the buy on this one. Moderna is a stock that, let's see the 52-week high. 52-week high on this one is still 281, so you're 28% below that. But this is a $400 stock last year, and this one's huge. I mean, let's go back and we'll look at a weekly. Look, it's up at $400 here, September 2021. So you've pretty much crashed down. This one has, all the volume support in the world at this point right here. Let's look at, we'll bring it back to the $400 range where it was trading in $400. There's not a whole lot of people holding on up there. Not a lot of people. The majority of people have it between 134 and 140 because, again, it was a great, great play there. There's talks about China allowing Moderna vaccine to be distributed. Gottlieb was on. He's on the board of Pfizer. He said they've talked to China about allowing them to use their vaccine. But the Chinese believe that they're close with an mRNA vaccine. He says they're probably not. But mRNA is one that's up. So Wells Fargo, I went over. Let's look at Bank of America since we looked at Wells Fargo because they had a cross up as well recently too. 31.76. And this one, unlike Wells Fargo, has confirmation above that 9-day. So if you wanted to get into Bank of America and you didn't get into Wells Fargo, I think you could take either one. They're fairly similar, not too crazy. One thing that I should say, Buffett owns Bank of America, a lot of it. Their earnings are coming up in the beginning of January, so there's a catalyst there. Let's take a look at Boyle and KOLD, because Boyle is still continuing. I think it's up slightly in the pre-market. Let me look at it real quick in Active Trader Pro. It won't switch you over there because it's not really worth it. The pre-market is 26. It closed at 25. 26.50. It closed at 25.72. So I don't expect it to have, see that little green candle? You got gaps up here. You got a gap that was created here between 26.76 and 29.70. So at some point you come back and you get that one. The algorithm doesn't have you in. The MACD is clearly crossing down. Your RSI is at 34. So if you wanted to play Boyle, it might be a good bounce back. Let's look at KOLD. Just KOLD is the inverse. You're in at 1740. It gapped up. You're at 1989. Good year. Graduated high school in 1988. But your RSI is at 62. This one is crossing up. The MACD is still continuing to go. But you did create that gap. You covered this gap between 1771 and 1919. Well, you covered it on the way down, but you covered it back on the way up. So I think KOLD is your long-term play. Just my opinion, but I think KOLD is your long-term play. Let's take a look at SOXL and SOXS. These are the triple levered chip ETFs. And SOXL, which is the long, which means the chips will go up, has no confirmation. It's below that 9-day. It's on the bottom end of that Bollinger Band. But the RSI is 35. The MACD is crossing down. You're out of this one. Doesn't have you in. Nothing crazy going on here. No huge movement, but it's clearly using that 200-day as a resistance level. See that 200-day is right about 13. You're trading at $10.40. So a 30% move up to the 200-day. At some point, I think that comes back into play. SOSS, on the other hand, you've got a gap up here between 46 and 54. Where is that 200-day? That 200-day, though, is right within that gap. It's right at the beginning of the gap. So if SOXS is being drawn back up to the 200-day, and it's going to use that as a resistance level, then you're going to start to fill that gap. I don't know that you actually fill the gap, but you're going to start to fill that gap. You're trading right now at 37, and that gap again starts at 46. So if you think chips are going to go down, SOXS is your play. It's a little too murky for me. I'm not necessarily getting into it. The algorithm has you into SOXS, not SOXL. SOXS, you're in at 33, and it's trading at 37. So you've made your 10%. I always say be careful with that one. I always talk about TQQQ under 20. It was trading at 17 yesterday after its kind of collapse, if you will. Well, not necessarily collapse, but it did go down. And TQQQ is one that I believe could go back to 20. You don't have confirmation on this one. You're not in it as far as the algorithm goes. A couple of people that I do know, one that's listening on YouTube right now, Zephan, got into TQQQ yesterday. You can gamble like that. Sometimes when you have these multiple down days and nothing is going right, you can absolutely gamble and just buy this one and say, I'm going to have a tight stop loss if it goes down. Remember, these things move quickly. So this downward pressure right here, you could be seeing the start of a button hook. I particularly probably would wait for a confirmation. Means that you're going to miss out on some of the gain. But the RSI is at 35. That's just low for this. The MACD is starting to cross up, but it's not quite crossing the signal line. When we look at SQQQ, this was one I think James or somebody had said yesterday, hey, I'm in this one. Should I keep it? I said keep it. You started to cover this gap. You started to cover it at about 54. It's trading now at 52. Let me see what it is in pre-market. Pre-market SQQQ is trading at 51, 51.90. So you'd really have to see this one kind of break down in order to see that button hook, but you're starting to see it. If you're in at 47, if you're in at 49, even if you're in at 50, I might start to think about taking some profits just because, again, these things move so quickly. And I would hate to see you lose those profits because the 200-day is right at 47. And if this thing's going to move up, it's going to cover this gap to 58. If it's going to move down, you're going to come down to that 200-day. And you could do that in one session with these triple levered ones. It's that quick. So Nike's up, FedEx, Tesla, S&P. Let's look at SPY because there's a lot of strategists yesterday that are looking at 3,400, and it's strategists. It's not technicians. Technicians look at those gaps. They look at things with the charts. Strategists say, hey, your cost per share is just going to go down. So they're looking at 3,400. And so if we looked at SPY, remember you just take a zero off the end of the S&P, and that's essentially where SPY trades. And let's take a look at the daily. 4 hour, it works fairly well. You're out of SPY. You wouldn't be in the stock market into SPY if you're trading on the algorithm. But it's below that Bollinger Band. And 3,400 is down in this level. Down here, 340. So I'm going to bring this back quite a bit. We're going to load up more data on this. And we're going to shrink this up because I want to show you where 3,400 is. We're going to look 340, and we're going to put it right there. That's 340. And so let's take a look at 340. If we're looking at 340 and we've got boom, and we've got you have 11% down on the SPY. Just, this is the great thing about TrendSpider is you can do that quickly. Simple as that. When you hear that technicians think that it's 3,400, just go and see how much further down we have to go. It's about 10 or 11%. I saw that. I don't know. I mean, I think it's using this 200-day at 405 as a clear resistance level, and until further notice, that's where it's gonna use it as resistance. Until we get into a bull market, you're not gonna see it go above that. You look at the weekly, and we still have to go down to that 3,600 to get to the 200-day. So you can see. Let's look at the volume levels that you have here. I'm going to pull this back to COVID because a lot of people are saying before they're kind of comparing stocks pre-COVID. If you pull this back to COVID, you've got a clear volume shelf here, right there between 385 and 394. If you lose that volume shelf, you don't have a whole lot going down. And 345 is where there's a significant volume shelf right there. And that's probably why technicians think that 3,400 is a fairly good one because the earnings per share being brought down moves it towards that range. And you can kind of tell. So, yeah. Let's look at Micron. This is I forget where they're based out of, but Micron's been one of my favorite ones. It just hasn't performed well at all. It's down at 50. I think the pivot point on this one is 50. Anything below 50, I think you're safe buying. But chips are just not, they've got this chip glut. They report, let me look real quick. I think it's today after the bell, December 21st. It is post-market. It is post-market, December 21st. So today, after the bell, you're going to hear from Micron. Their RSI is down at 32. The MACD is well below. I don't expect a huge announcement like, oh my God, we killed it. We sold more than we wanted. I expect an update on just their backlog. So, but again, I think if it dips under 50, I think you're okay buying that one, because just let's look at the daily, and let's look at some trends, because it has used the 200-day up here at 65 as its resistance. Today, the 200 days at 61. It's nowhere close to that. $50 is just, it's kind of putting in, there's no real trend here. It's a messy chart. It's a downward spiraling stock. And if you look at it, the PE is 6. The forward PE is 16. Next year's earnings per share expected to grow by 594%. They're going to pull that down. They're absolutely going to pull that down. Year to date, it's down 45%. Just doesn't make sense. So, but chips don't make sense. There's still a chip shortage, and we're going into the year with a glut of chips, certain chips, and Micron is one of those. So, Tom, with coal, there are better symbols than BTU. Remember we talked about BTU, Peabody Energy. There's a couple of people that got into BTU. It's a great stock. Oh my God, it's been running. In fact, look at that. We had a cross up yesterday on BTU, 28.89. Perfect timing, Tom. This one, if you look at it, and we're going to pull this back, I'm going to pull it here. The last time we had a cross up and we had a huge run. Look at the volume shelf. Right at that 28 level. 28.89 is the buy-in. Tom says if you like coal, he likes Arch and CEIX. Let's look at Arch. Arch is one downward trending for the last few weeks. You got out with a recent one. The algorithm makes you 23%. Buying and holding makes you 239%. You have 26 positions within 1,000 candles. You win 46% of the time, and your average win is 9%. Let's look at Arch versus BTU on the fundamental side. Arch, their PE is 2. They have a 0.72% dividend. They are up 77% year to date. Let's look at BTU, since that's kind of the gold standard. Their PE is 3, so it's a bit more expensive. They're up 184% year to date. Earnings per share this year is 115%. You're still 15% below your 52-week high. So your 52-week high is 33. You're trading at 28. I think with the abundance of potential of opening China, even though they're in the midst of a crazy COVID breakout, you could see, Carnival adjusted loss. Carnival lost adjusted share per loss. But he likes Arch and he likes CEIX. Let's say CEIX is Consol Energy. Ascending triangle, a cross up yesterday at 72.69. Let's look at their fundamentals. CEIX, their PE expensive at 6. Earnings per share this year, 357%. Next year is 122%. Year to date, it's 224% up. You're butting right up against your 52-week high. You're only 8% below it. You're 286% above your 52-week low. Arch currently trading at about $140. Fair value is $200 or more, including oil special extra dividends. This year, Arch has distributed more than $25 per share. So Arch is his favorite, and you ironically, that's the one with a cross up. No, you don't have a cross up. You're actually out of Arch. But let's take a look at that MACD. We're probably going to have a cross up here today. So $140. Let's look at Arch. Let's look at the monkeys. What did the monkeys say? June, hold to buy, $225 price target. September of last year, there was a $110 price target. So you can see November 8th, revenues beat expectations. Simply Wall Street's there. Zacks. I hate the PR Newswire. Arch Resources reports third quarter earnings. Look at the third quarter earnings. If you want to invest in Arch, BTU had to cross up. I still like BTU for some reason. I think this one's, again, let's look at the 52-week high. It's trading at 28. 52-week high is 33. I think you could go back there. So I like BTU. Tom also says to consider there are many upsides to oil service providers, in addition to Halliburton and Schlumberger. Halliburton, we've talked about here. I'm not a big fan of Halliburton. Dick Cheney's on the board, or was on the board. They got some war issues in Iraq. Schlumberger is one that I do like. There's political issues with this one, too. You just had a cross up here at 51.33. It's trading at 51.76. The MACD is down, but you can see what's funny is, so here you're trading at about $52, and that MACD just slides, the RSI slides, but this stock holds up. You didn't quite cover this gap at about 46. You've kind of held up at 50 here. In a downward trending market and a downward trending energy sector, this one is held up. 51.33 right now. Let's look at SLB. They are expensive. Their PE is 24. Their 52-week high is 56. So you're 7% below that. 1.35% dividend. Year to date, they're up 72%. So it's expensive. Look at ACDC, PTEN, CHX, FTI, OIH. Yeah. OIH I've brought up before. It's an ETF of oil producers. And we had a cross up here at 296. You're trading at 293. It's been an expensive one. It's probably going to go down to that 200-day if oil continues to slide. That gap that you see right there, not in play. It's underneath the 200-day. Again, even with energy, look at that downturn on the MACD. Significant. But we saw some cross-ups in there. Right now, the RSI is at 53. So it's a decent stock ETF. But yeah. Look at Energy Transfer. I think Energy Transfer, ET. That is one that I think Tom had told me. ET came up as a cross-up. And ironically, brought it up. 1166 was the buy. This is a great company. ET. ET Phone Home. PE is 8, 9% dividend. Year to date, it's up 41%. It is 10% below its 52-week high. So you had a cross up. The algorithm makes you 64%. Buying and holding makes you 78%. You have 24 positions. You win 42% of the time, and your average win is 11% in the algorithm. It's a good company to buy. We talk about natural gas, and I talked about Boyle and KOLD. I haven't talked about this one in a while because it's been in an absolute slide. LNG. This is Cheniere Energy. This one may have had its day. It crossed the 200-day. But my belief is, since we're going into winter and it's still getting cold, and we're heading into a bomber cyclone, whatever they're called, here in the east, it's going to affect Christmas travel. This 200 days at 164, you're trading at 153. At 150, I think you could still buy this one and be completely happy. These trades up here have been great. It crossed its 200-day. It's below the 9-day. The algorithm does not have you in. That MACD is in free fall. The RSI is at 33. Remember, this is a company that takes cheap natural gas from the U.S. at about I think it was $8 per metric ton or whatever they use to measure it. It sells it over in Europe for about $70. Now, the problem is Europe has basically storage issues. They can't unload it fast enough. They can't store it because their storage is completely filled. So if Putin gets a little bit more crazy with Ukraine, starts shutting down Nord Stream, you could see this stock immediately go back up. Make no mistake about it. This is an expensive stock. They've had a bunch of special dividends. Forward PE is 7. It's up 51% year to date. This is 15% above or I'm sorry, below its 52-week high. It is 53% above its 52-week low. It is not making money. They had spent a ton of money on their capital costs. So it is a bit risky. Take a look at this one. If we even go back, let's take a look at weekly, because weekly is going to show you how far this one has run since COVID. It still hasn't had the COVID pullback like we saw in every other single stock. You just haven't seen it. LNG. GIS is a great example too. Haven't seen that pullback since COVID. Let's look at the weekly. You're seeing it kind of, that's March 2020, still go on. So there are some stocks that haven't seen that. And speaking of pullbacks, let's bash Jim Cramer again. What was it? 11/20. So just a month ago? 1 month ago, Jim Cramer said, Disney, pay $98 if you can. Under 100's great. That will be nothing versus where it goes. Today it's at 85. Let's take a look at Disney. And let's take a look at this dinosaur of stock pickers. I do say anything under 100, you could probably buy Disney. I think I said 95 or whatever. It's at $87. But here's the thing that I've always pointed out. With Chapin in charge, it wasn't good. With Iger in charge, I think it's better. But the PE is still 49. If they reinstate a dividend, you can expect this to be like Boeing. And we can look at Boeing. But Boeing is on its way to restoring its dividend. And that's why you're seeing this stock just in a record run. 129 was the buy-in on October 4th. You're still in that. And the MACD has come down, but that 9-day and the 21-day are super strong. The 50-day golden cross right here. When it golden crossed, it traded in the 170s. It's at 188. Let's take a look at a weekly on this one, because this one will be interesting. Take a look at that. It's moving its way back to its 200-day at 231. Boeing's it's a good company to buy. The problem is it has had such a run. But yeah, Jim Cramer is crazy. Zephin posted in our Facebook group last night. And by the way, if you're not part of the Facebook group, just go to the link tree and the Facebook. I think the logo's right under my picture. It's on the left. But he posted, he went and checked some oil energy stocks with my algo, because he did sign up for TrendSpider. So he's got my algorithm. If you do sign up for TrendSpider, let's take a look. How many days are left on the current thing? $390 for the year. And it's 5 days left. So if you sign up for that. But he looked at some energy stocks, and they do have some entries. Devon Energy first. I own it. I've held it since, I think, 53. It got a buy-in here at 59.39. So that was yesterday. It got you out, but then it got you back in, 59.39. Marathon Oil, MRO is the symbol. We have a buy-in here at 28.03. It's using that 200-day as its support level. Clearly, it's got that support level. It's 27.14. No reason not to buy it now, other than if we're heading into a recession, these are going to get killed still. PXD, which is one with a crazy dividend. Let me check the dividend on MRO. I think it's decent. I don't think it's huge, though. I think it's down there. Yeah, it's 1.33. Now, since we're on FinViz, PXD, dividend 11%. Just so you know. So while you're holding this one, even if it goes down, you're getting paid 11%. 227.10, and it's putting in that kind of support level there while the MACD kind of goes up. It's not a huge buy, symbol, but it's energy, and I would say it's big. FANG, which is Diamondback, another big dividend. I think it's 9% or something. 136.26. So let's take a look at FANG. 2% dividend. I'm sorry, I overstated that one. But they are 19% below their 52-week high. So you've got room to grow in these energy stocks. And in fact, Devon's up 2% above 60. I said Devon, anything under 60. I would point out also Oxy kind of got close to below 60. It had a buy-in here at 64.73. You can buy it at 62 now. The MACD closed even down lower. But I think these oil stocks start to go back to their 200-day. With Oxy, this is a Warren Buffett one. He poured billions of dollars into this one. So bullish for Google. The NFL is looking at Google as the probable host of Sunday Ticket, which that means they get my money. Ironically, I bought a Chromecast last night too. And I got to tell you, I was fairly impressed. Wasn't impressed with the interface. Still think Apple does it way better on the Apple TV. Significantly better. Makes it easy. Because their apps are easy to sign into. You can use your iPhone as a keyboard. Probably would have helped if I had a Google phone, but I did use the Google app, so it helped a little bit. But Google, remember, Sunday Ticket built DirecTV. When Sunday Ticket next year goes off of DirecTV, I predict DirecTV's dead. Just absolutely dead. So they're going with Google. I think it's hugely bullish for Google. Scans. Let's talk about three. We'll talk about three. Mara, first one. This one has been killer because I said, hey, I think I was recommending it here at 6 to get back to the 200-day at 10. It's down at $3, $3.89. If you got in on this one, it took you way down and had a huge leg down. This is crypto. This is a miner. This is a crypto miner. So Mara is one that you could absolutely play to trade. Here's my caveat, and I said this. When this one ran up to 7, I said once it loses its confirmation, it could go quick. It lost its confirmation on December 5th from this one. It never gained back. 100% never gained back. It's at 389. Let me see what it is in pre-market. Mara in pre-market is trading right at 389. Closed at 390. I would suggest you put a very tight stop loss on this one and trade it. I don't know that it's getting back to that 200-day. Let's take a look. I don't think that they're making money. Yeah, they're not making money. The forward PE is 5. This is a minor. September 23rd, BTIG research, buy to neutral. The target price is 7. Look at these target prices from earlier this year. 50, 65. Yeah, this is how little the monkeys know. Coinbase versus Marathon Digital Holdings. Motley Fool article. Read that one. I haven't read it, but I guarantee it gives you better information than I do. But Mara is one that triggered on the algorithm. I bring it up all the time. I probably, you know what? I'm going to should I put this in the core holdings? Maybe I'll put that as a question on the podcast. Should I put Mara in the core holdings? I don't know. I'll leave it out. But MNST. This came up on the ARC scan, I believe. This is an interesting one. And it's an interesting one because I was on YouTube Live and I'm kind of going over it. And I said, this would be good for the options player that wants to buy puts. And the reason it's good for the options player that may want to buy puts is because I think it's coming back down to this gap that is over the 200-day. You've got this gap between 95 and the 200 days at 93. I don't think it fills the full one. But look at that MACD go down. Stock hasn't really reacted, and now it's crossing up. And it's at 101.26 is the cross up. And let's take a look. The PE is 44. This is super, super expensive. It is only 3% below its 52-week high. Year to date, it's up 5%. This is one that I think if you play options, I think you could play puts on this one, and I think you could do well. I am not an options person. I would not buy this expecting it to go way higher than its 52-week high, and that's why I brought it up, because I thought it was good. Now, in the energy scan, I brought up Venom or Viper, which VNOM is the symbol. 31.16 is the price. It's clearly using that 200-day support. It went down, started to fill this gap down here at 29. But I do think that you could play this one for a fairly good bounce. Again, if you think energy's going up, Viper may be the one. It's slightly expensive. PE is 14. It's got a 6% dividend. Year to date, it's up 46%. So I like it. I like it a lot. Let me see. James, REI opening up 4%. Boyle has gotten beaten down a little pre-market. TSLA went up 8% yesterday, down in pre-market. GIS up 1% pre-market. Wells Fargo up 0.8 pre-market. Keeping an eye on WMT. Let me pause real quick. Oh, okay. You get let in here. Go find your ball. Go on. Okay, James. Let me read the rest of your notes. KOLD up 13% this morning. I said KOLD was the play. KOLD, I think, went up 13% just in the last, let me look at KOLD on Active Trader Pro. KOLD's down. I don't know what you're looking at, James. What you talking about, Willis? Look at KOLD. 1941 it closed at. It's trading right at that. It got all the way down to... Market opened up. It shot back up. It is down 2%. So Boyle's up 2%. Okay, let me go back into the podcast. Sorry, dog came in, and Aunt Nikki bought her a ball, and she is crazy. Let's look at I'm going to take a look at a couple of ones that I've led people into that maybe they should have gotten out of. But REI, that's it, by the way. Viper was the last scan. REI, this is one trading at $2.26. The buy-in was $2.36. You're getting that button hook. You've got a confirmation above that 9-day. I would say if you get above that 9-day and you get a couple of candles that are above that, I think you could look at this one going back to 277. I like it. Let's look at Wells Fargo. Where did Wells Fargo open up? Let's see. Wells Fargo, it's got a little green candle, a baby green. It's at 41.41. I'm going to put this in my brokerage holdings because I do own it now. I love TrendSpider. Just add it into that list. Wells Fargo, their earnings are coming up on January 12th. I like that one. GIS. This is General Mills. This is a consumer staple, man. I mean, look at it's going to cover that gap. It gapped down. See that gap? It gapped down. Got you out here. I think it's coming back up here to 87. It's at 83. GIS. It is trading 5% below its 52-week high of 88. Yeah, PE is 17. It's expensive. Dividend of 2.6%. Year to date is up 23%. So Pan W is one that James brings up too. I personally own this one long term. I probably should have sold it several times. It's got no confirmation. But look at that beaten down stock. And if we want to find beaten down stocks, by the way, at some point I'll go into FinViz on YouTube Live, maybe today. So hang out a little bit, and we'll go into FinViz and we'll look at some beaten down stocks. But I think that's good enough for the podcast. If you guys made it this far, rate. Just hit 5 stars on Spotify. You can see it right up there. If you're in Apple Podcasts, it's a ways to rate. And I think that's why I only have freaking 9. If you want to read the rating on my show that I put in, grabbing other people's phones, which is the review that I currently do on Apple, you're going to go into the bottom right-hand corner. You're going to go into the library. Then you're going to find my show because you should be following my show. And you're going to click on my show. Then you're going to see the current episode, and you're going to scroll all the way down. About halfway down, you'll see ratings and reviews. The rating that I just wrote, it's titled, He's Amazing. But rate me 5 stars, because if you made it this far, you're a regular listener. Thank you to everybody who supports me with the support. Remember, Trend Spider sale is going on. It's got 5 more days. I'll get you my algorithm. For everybody that has written their own algorithm, has asked me to review it, I am happy to. There are 3 that I am, and you guys know who you are, 3 that I am currently trying to review. It's just, babysitting time with the parents. So it's a little bit difficult here. But I will get around to it, and I promise I will get around to it. If you guys have any questions, hit me up in the socials. All of them are listed in the link tree below. And share this. I mean, I've been putting out some shorts, trying to get people over to YouTube. Again, YouTube, Twitter. Most of you people who listen on this podcast are not following me elsewhere. Investing is not just listening to a guy on the internet. I get a ton of emails about thank you for the education. I really appreciate those. But a lot of you folks are probably just listening and maybe buying. That's a mistake. I would be happy to help you guys a little bit more understanding if you need it. And if you've made it this far, you've actually probably done more than most people. So just reach out, join the Facebook group, join, the Facebook group. I just ban the first person, but I couldn't find out who it was. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Yeah. Talk to you later. See you tomorrow. Okay. Share, export song to disk. Okay. And export. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to put this over here. James is trying to freaking trick us out there. Let me put in, we're going to do a title. Thursday. Boom, boom. And Pan W. Down below 149. 4% down. That's a disappointing one. But, man, that's just been beaten down. Carnival is up 5% after they missed. Look at all the freaking travel stocks are up. Okay, indices check. Let's look. Then I'm going to post this podcast. Then I got to get going because I got to clean up my room. I'm like a 15-year-old again. Housekeeper's coming. I got to get the dogs ready. I'm up 0.74 and the markets are up. Dow 0.91, S&P 0.6. So I'm beating the S&P on the way up. I've beaten them on the way down. So, yeah. Not good. Oil, let's get it going today. I wish it was going to get going. I'm going to switch you guys over to Active Trader Pro. Let's look at just today. See? KOLD does have confirmation. I bet it goes to 20 today. It's got a green candle. Nothing huge. TQQQ, let's take a look. It's kind of lost its confirmation below the Bollinger Bands there in the first couple of candles. Big candle, what's this? 1823 to 1849. Good years. I'm not old enough to remember them, though. Even though the shaming of Apple telling me that I'm overweight and old might make some folks laugh. Let's see. We are going to new episode. By the way, just so you are aware, Spotify sent me a message last night. They want to include me in their active ad campaign. So you guys may start to hear ads at the beginning of Stefan, I love your energy, man, when you say good morning. I wish I had energy like that. It was a struggle getting out of bed today. And let's bash Jim Cramer again. What a fucking douche. Finishing upload. Boom, 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 boom. Alaska just hit minus 66 degrees this morning. Yeah, if Alaska's that cold, I mean, it's always that cold. But Boyle's going to, shit. What's the temperature here now? 27 here in New Jersey. And the high will be 39. Tomorrow it's going to be up in the 50s. Christmas week, we ain't getting out of the 30s. And my ass wants to be back in Atlanta. Let me see what Atlanta's like. Atlanta's up in the 50s. Atlanta's not much better. No rain, though, in Atlanta. Windy on Friday. They just got their rain yesterday. So, okay, who's got a stock they want me to look at? Who's trading today? Let's see Wells Fargo. I'm waiting for this damn thing to upload. Then I'll upload it to Twitter. Look at Wells Fargo. Almost at 42. Look at that. Who else is in Wells Fargo? Anybody else join me in that one? Let me see my notes. I got to move this down. Sandeep Kumar wanted me to go over some stuff. But he said he didn't want me to go over. Let's see. Santa Claus. How do you spell Santa Claus? How do you spell Santa Claus?
Santa Claus.
Okay, no E.
S-A-N.
Okay, I don't need you to tell me again. Rally. Let's see. Market update. 12, 21, 22. Zevin, you're never stuck. Let me see DRN. Did you look at the algo on DRN? It's got confirmation. It's a good day, though. You're going to hold over the weekend? You crazy. You crazy. Let me grab this. Episodes. Boom, boom. Social links. We're going to sell on TrendSpider ending soon. Okay. Nike killed earnings and when is Christmas? Let me look. Zevin, what you got to figure out too? Today's Wednesday the 21st. Sunday is Christmas. I think you're closed Monday. So here's what you have to realize. You ain't trading Monday. For a stock that actually has assets like your oil companies, like Apple, like things like that, that's what you swing. Things like DRN, TQQQ. It's. I'm not saying it's bad to hold it, but good Lord, say there's and God forbid, something happens on Christmas that's bad. You get really screwed in something like that. Something good that happens on Christmas, you win out big on that, but it's okay. We're gonna put WMRA. I wasn't very organized during this podcast. I always feel bad when I'm not organized. But hopefully people realize. SPY equals 340. Micron set to report. BTU. Arch is a better. CIX. Halliburton, Schlumberger. I like Schlumberger, man. RTX. We'll put these in. I didn't look at the charts, but I will. FTI. OIH I like. Look at ET. LNG. Boom, boom, boom. And then I need to copy down below Jim Cramer. Cramer said buy DIS at 98 on 1120. You're paying $600 a year. Gem of advice. I hate fucking Cramer. What a douche. I'm gonna put the notes. I don't know that anybody reads these damn notes. But Devin, or Zephin. I was typing out Devin. Your algo may need some work because you said Devin trigger was at 5960. Let me go in there. Ping me in a little bit. Because I gotta look at that for you. Okay, let's copy. Oh, what was I going to put in a poll? Should I add to the holdings in TrendSpider? Multiple choice. Yes. No. We'll do a start, confirm, end. We'll end it next month. Publish poll. And I'm not doing seasons. I should do seasons, but I think I got more listeners out of that seasons. I'm gonna send you a here. Here is, see if you have these entries and exits. I'm gonna post this in chat window. Boom. And here is this asset performance. Okay, I'm going to put, I got to type it in, 19.31%. Algo is 19.31%. Okay. See if yours matches that. If not, we got to work on your algo. Stop it, Penny. We're going to Twitter. Oh, man. I just copied this whole fucking thing. Now I got to copy it again. Dude. No rush. I got to post this damn thing. Man, this is the worst part about this freaking podcast. I need to start doing artificial intelligence on writing stuff. Okay. I did say buy Nike when it was in the 90s. We got spy in there. I have a feeling because I think when we set up your algo, you kind of had a little problem with the exit, if I remember correctly. But I also remember, fuck, when you got it, I had a couple hundred people signing up. If I haven't mentioned it, I freaking love TrendSpider. The Hustle was looking for some people to interview, and Dan, the CEO of TrendSpider, I suggested him. He is a guy that I would listen to or go work for in a heartbeat. Okay, we're going to tweet this. And then we're going to go back in. And we are going to put in the rest of this. And there is the garbage folks. And of course, when the garbage folks come out in a 55 and older community, immediately everybody goes in to pull in their garbage cans. And I can see several neighbors doing that. PXD. I love PXD, man. Who's ever in PXD, you're getting such a fat dividend. Even Devin, I'm getting a fat dividend. DRV has been your winner. The NFL contract is going to Google. I'm going to put GOGL too. I'm glad I remembered to put that poll. I'm going to put, let's go to most actives. Oh, I got to move this over a little bit. We're actually going to shrink this down. Palantir's in the most active. SQQQ. I think that may have been the other one, but Amazon, PLTR, AMD, GMU, no, GME, AMC I'm going to put in. I'm going to put in Ford. We're going to put in Lucid. We're going to put in NVIDIA. We're going to put in Fuel Cell. And I got to get rid of 2 here. Okay, we need 3. So we're going to and then I think we're good. Yep. Okay. Zephin, take a screenshot. Send it to me on Instagram or Facebook. Take one screenshot of your entry. Take one screenshot of your exit. And then you're going to want it trade by. Here's the things up top. Let me type this in. It's going to be 4 hours. Data 1,000 candles. Trade by open. Long only. And the other thing is, I think it's the, generic OHLC. Next to the name, make sure you're using generic OHLC. So take a snapshot of your entry and exit, and then we'll look at that. But those are the top line things that you want in the algo. And trust me, if you go into TrendSpider and you change your candles to what is it, hike and ashy, or even raindrop, it changes it significantly. Oh, and do not check EXT hours. Uncheck that. My guess is that that's probably part of the extended hours you don't want. Even though it seems to help in the algorithm, it really doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is because your gaps don't show up. They still show up. They're just not. The performance of the algorithm doesn't do what it is meant to do if you have extended hours. That's what I'm working on with some folks. Let's see. Look at the 5-minute candles on Wells Fargo. Let's look at Boyle, because I think that one had confirmation earlier. Nope. KOLD is what has it. Look. Jesus. 1910, you probably should have bought it. See how it's above that 9-day? And it's going outside the Bollinger Bands. And then it has this little one. This is what's called a triple bar. Let me Google this. Zip Trader bar. This is a good. Copy. For you guys on YouTube, I'm doing this. If you guys ever want to watch a video on one where I used to sit at my desk staring at charts to try and find this, that's one. I haven't done it in years, but here on a 5-minute chart, see that bar right there, and then that bar right there, and then this bar right there. That's a triple bar. So go and watch that video to see what a triple bar is. And by the way, this is the video that I put in there. It's Charlie, Zip Trader Charlie. I like him. He's pretty good. And Devin, yeah. Goldman Sachs. Did that get a button hook? Doesn't have a MACD cross up, but it will soon. GOOG. You're going to get a cross up soon on here too. These things are just oversold. You're going to get a bounce here because they're oversold. Apple is up. So, yeah, my portfolio. Let's check the portfolio. We're up 0.93. It's good to be up. Good to be a gangsta. Okay, I'm out. I got to go pack the house up. And it's 900 degrees, so I got to do something. Go and see the dogs. Stefan, hit me up. We'll get that fixed for you. Anybody else that's on TrendSpider? There's your Devon chart. If it's at all wrong, hit me up. I'll help you out. Why am I getting Sports Corp Travel? Oh, that's so nice. My travel agency from MLS just sent me a nice Christmas card. Jim Cramer's top 10 things he's watching. Yeah, we don't care. You know what? Since I bashed Cramer, let's see. U.S. stock futures point to a higher open. The S&P and NASDAQ broke 4-session losing streaks. Is Santa Claus coming to town? Historically, the final 5 trading days of the year and the first 2 of the new year tend to be strong, according to chartist Larry Williams. Larry Williams is good. Thursday may be the time to buy. Today's the time to buy. Dow stock Nike jumps more than 12%. Drivers, China is not dead yet in the power of inventory and brand management. FedEx shares rose. Jefferies goes to hold from buy on club holding Starbucks. Why downgrade when China is about to take off as it loosens? Yeah. Jim Cramer's calling Citibank fools. China's economy, let's look. Let's look who's right. I'm going to go back to Active Trader Pro. SBUX. Let's see how many people listen to Cramer. It's up. It's down overall. Let's look at the 2-day. But you could be, this is probably getting dragged back up. Let's look at Starbucks in the algorithm. SBUX. Oh. Kramer's so wrong. Look at that. It was above the 200. I think you're coming back down there. I mean, you're so oversold right now. Look at that 38. You make a nice 2-3% in this one. Not mind holding it. China's economy coming back does not mean 2 million barrels of oil per day. It's more like 2 million gallons a day. Russia can supply that no problem, so predictions of huge crude spikes seem off. Our big oil stock dividends from the likes of Devon, Pioneer, and Coterra need around $70 per barrel. Plenty of room with the crude at 78. Deutsche Bank lowers price target on Tesla to $270 per share from $355. Keeps buy rating. Come on, get realistic. The stock, which becomes part of the S&P before the open, closed Tuesday at about 138. Analysts at Deutsche Bank say the price target cut reflects near-term challenging narrative. Yeah. So yeah, he'll pay $238 for a $355 or $270 for Ford. Citi Club holding Apple is down too far versus the risk. Analysts say that despite December quarter supply constraints, demand for Apple devices and services should come up during 2023. Regulatory concerns overhang. Chip maker Micron reports its quarter after the closing bell. Can the inventory glut really be over this fast in light of the poor sales of PCs? We'll be looking for read-throughs on our semiconductors, NVIDIA, Advanced Micro, and Qualcomm. Gordon Haskett downgrades target to hold from buy with a 132 price target, cites meaningful eroded traffic. That's not what I saw yesterday. Yeah. I figured you had something like that. Target. TGT. It's got no confirmation. Oof. Ever since we got in at 165 and got out, it's just that I'm long on this one. By the way, look at how beaten up that one is. I was in Target yesterday, and the line was huge. I waited like 20 minutes for my freaking Chromecast. Wedbush downgrades Papa John's to neutral from outperform, but raises price target to 92. Analyst downgrade Shake Shack and Jack in the Box. Interesting because labor is getting easier. Those are his top 10. And you can pay $600 for him to give you a genius move like that. Douche. Yeah. I still think these gaps get filled. But look at, it's just getting beaten. That's why I won't own both Walmart and Target. Because look at Walmart. Walmart just got out with a 12% gain. And you're going to use that 200-day as a support level. It's not even getting down to the 200-day of 138. These are long terms. Okay. I am out now that Zephin is fixed. You guys are great. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.